James Owen.
I'm Sanders Tisdale.
And tonight it's going to be a not so great show, but it's going to be an amazing show. We got a lot coming up. We have a special guest coming on, Larry the Eagle, or Larry the Philly Eagle. He's coming on.
Fly Eagle, Fly Larry.
Fly Eagle, Fly Larry, whatever. We're going to talk about that. The Steelers losing to the Eagles, and we're going to talk. First, I don't want to forget. Congratulations to the Navy midshipmen for beating the Army team and the Army-Navy annual game this year.
Yeah.
31-13, dominance from the Navy team. Everybody thought Army was going to win it. They just won the conference championship. The Army team did, and it looked like that they were going to come in against this Navy team and destroy them, but it went the other way. My father, Navy veteran, my son, Navy veteran. You know, I got to say congratulations, you guys, and, you know, all the Navy midshipmen out there, all the Navy veterans and active duty members of the Navy. Congratulations. Next year, we're going to get you. Also, we're going to talk about, it's not a semi-short week, but we got the Ravens coming up on Saturday. We're going to talk about that. And since next Tuesday is Christmas Eve, we are not, I know, don't be sad. We are not going to have our show next Tuesday because it's Christmas Eve, but we're going to talk a little bit about the Chiefs game that we're going to be playing on Christmas Day on Netflix. If anybody was able to watch it or maybe watch it, we all watch the Tyson's fight. But when we get back from Steeler Nation Live, a lot to talk about this. It's going to be a great show and a lot of surprises coming on Steeler Nation Live.
Hey guys, welcome back. Steeler Nation Live. Your boy Sanders Tisdale,
James Owen.
Guys, like James said, a lot to talk about. We already
getting messages, but we can't divulge what's going on later on the show. Don't ruin any surprises there. People on the phone on the messaging board. About the phones real quick. We're having problems with the phone lines once again. We can call out, we can't call in. So we're very sorry about that, folks. So if you want to call on the show tonight, unfortunately, you will not be able to do that, but you will be able to message. We'll see the message on the board. We got a great show coming for you. Even though we lost, right, Sanders? Even though we lost to the Eagles, it was a great game for the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about that stats later in the show. But we have a big surprise coming in later in the show. Not a big surprise, but
we got a guest. We got a guest coming on there. I mean, a guest that's gonna, it's a big time Eagle lover. Eagle Fly Larry, Fly Eagle Fly Larry. And
whatever.
Like I said, and he's pretty hyped up. We've just to let you guys know, we did a bet last week about whether the Steelers would come out victorious versus these vaunted dirty birds, these rat birds, these what's up some other names we could think of, you know what I mean, for these Philadelphia Eagles. We did a bet on that. We lost, we came up short, but always on Pittsburgh Steeler Nation Live, we pay our dues, and we're gonna do that tonight here. So guys, check us out. So he'll be calling in and we'll check him out as well here on Steeler Nation Live. So guys, like James touched base on quick, big game here in the college rankings. We're going to talk about that real quick as well, James.
So I just thought about it. This would have been perfect, Sanders, if we could have got this guy on the show. Not too long, a couple years ago, we had Vince Papale on the show. People wonder who's Vince Papale.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was that movie. It was a movie about him, a little documentary about a Philadelphia Eagles player.
Who was it? Mark Wahlberg played him in a movie. Mark Wahlberg
played, and it was 2006. And we had him on the show, the actual player, not Mark Wahlberg. I mean, we're a good show. We're a great show. We're not that great. Get these celebrities out. We got professional football players, coaches, all that. But these actors, I don't know. It's kind of tough to get them. But Vince Papale, his story, if you look up, it's called Invincible. It's a great movie about a semi-great team, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, check it out. It's 2006. It's a great movie about almost like a Rudy kind of movie, but it would have been very nice to have him on the show for this.
Yeah,
to talk about that. Yeah. But you know what? We're not going to take anything away from the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a mission. They showed up. They showed up and they played. They did what they had to do to win this football game. And later on, we're going to talk about the referees. And, it always looks more prevalent when you lose about when people talk about the referees, but we're going to go down a plethora of missed calls or calls that were made in this game really didn't have that much of an impact on the game. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I want to pump the Steelers up because we played flat, if anything, right?
Right.
We didn't have a proper game plan. We went in there. I mean, of course, you're on a high horse at this point. You just backed into the playoffs. We forgot to mention that, and on the intro, I forgot to mention it. So because of the Colts lost and the Dolphins lost, Pittsburgh Steelers kind of backed into the playoffs right now. But I want to say backed in right now, Sanders, because we still have the Ravens on Saturday, and we beat the Ravens. We win the division. Usually the division winners are in the playoffs. So it just takes a little pressure off the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, we can still lose the division to the Ravens. If we lose, then we'll be tied. But we're going to talk about that later on the show. But yeah, the Eagles came to play. The Steelers didn't come to play, Sanders.
Yeah, that's what all it came down to. I'm just reading the messages on the board. I see Eddie Harris on there. He said, "Refs, this wasn't a KC game." That's true. Well, you're right. It wasn't a KC game, but you got to look at it, man. There were a lot of bad calls going on in this game, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. A couple drives. If you want me to go back to some, there were a couple of drives here where the Pittsburgh Steelers were like, it wasn't a correct time. A lot of people on the board was talking about this right here. Let me see if I can get to it. Actually, this was the end zone fracas, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get to that right now. This was here it is. Yeah. Yep. Now, if you can explain it a little bit about this right here.
All right, let me draw the play out for you for folks at home who didn't see the game. So the play is Najee Harris is running the ball right side of field, trying to score a touchdown. He gets knocked out at the 1 or 3 yard line. So Darnell Washington, the tight end, he grabs a hold of Darius Slay, I believe,
which is right in the screen number 2.
And what he's doing is he's blocking him from probably the 10-yard line all the way through the end zone and up against the wall. Well, Darius Slay didn't take that to light, and he swung and he punched Washington in the face, right? And the referees didn't see that. We got the videos out there.
So what you're saying, number 2, the smaller guy, punched this giant in his face.
Punch him in his face.
Yep.
So then a scrum ensued at the wall. Many Eagles players, bunch of Steeler players come in. And then Calvin Austin III, he was about 5'6", 100 pounds soaking wet. He runs into the melee. As soon as he gets in there, he gets popped in the face. Okay, so you got 2 Steelers getting popped in the face, right? So you're thinking, okay, they break it up, a couple flags are thrown, right? So you would think offsetting penalties, Pittsburgh retains the ball first and goal at the 3 or the 1 or whatever. No, that didn't happen. According to the referees, they still, to this day, said that there's no video evidence showing they didn't see any punches thrown. And there's no video because they say once a flag goes up, the referees throw a flag that is automatic upstairs. They review it, they look, they watch. I don't know what they were watching or weren't watching. I didn't know Calvin Austin got punched in the face too. I didn't until I reviewed the video, slowed it down, watched it, and I sent you a couple pictures. I don't know if we could put them up from the video, but it's just stuff like that when the referees are like, I don't know if they're trying to cover their asses or whatever. But I mean, when you have a play, it's going upstairs and they have more TVs than we do. They have more cameras than we do, more different angles. But if you can see it, somebody, I guess one of the videos I watched was a fan in the front row or something like that filmed it. And you could Google it. You could look it up right now, folks at home, if you want to. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And you could see punches were thrown. But the only players who were penalized were the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that marched us back. We couldn't get a first down. We had to settle for a field goal. Now, during many drives, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they missed a roughing the quarterback on Russell Wilson. He got popped. There was no play on that. When the Eagles were driving late in the second quarter, before they scored a touchdown, a blatant holding on the. I mean, we could be here all night.
Yeah. Rod Kennedy called it correct there too. He said, "What about the punt?" I totally agree.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to that.
Yeah,
that part. So really quick, I'm sorry, I don't want to drag this out, but so Pittsburgh Steelers were forced to punt, And for some reason, one of the defenders on the Eagles punched Connor Hayward in the head. Just punched him right there in front of everybody, right? Flags were thrown, and the initial call was the correct one. Personal foul, 15 yards on the, I forgot the player, Turner or something like that. And Pittsburgh was supposed to get the first down because it was during a live play. So they give the ball to Philadelphia. I didn't understand that at all. I mean, the original call was personal foul, 15 yards, even though Pittsburgh needed 20 plus. It was a new set. It was a new play. So Pittsburgh gets it after that. So then they try to say, well, Philadelphia, they try to explain themselves again that the Eagles retained possession because the foul happened after the kick. Now, if you read the NFL rules, it clearly states during the play. Before or after the kick, it's irrelevant. So whether it happened before or after the kick, it was a live play. And Pittsburgh should have been awarded the ball. And, it's just a lot of things that momentum changers could have, affected the game. But not as much as the play of the Philadelphia Eagles. They were just too powerful, too strong. They were there. They were making their plays when they had to. But it doesn't help when the referees are throwing, flags out there. And just what makes it even worse is when they're trying to explain, the penalty, why they threw the flag, why they didn't throw the flag. It's ridiculous. And sources have stated, and we don't want to confirm this, okay? But it's out there, and I'm pretty sure it is. And so, our sources are saying that the referees who reffed that game were suspended and fined. This is not 100%, so we don't want you to say that this is what we're saying is true. This is what's going out there in social media. So I'm not, our sources are saying, but whatever. We'll maybe read about it or see it on ESPN or one of those phony sports channels, right? Where you get your information here, Steeler Nation Live. Go to our website, folks, www.steelernationlive.net. Check out our shows. Go to YouTube and search Steeler Nation Live and check out all our previous shows. Check out the show right now live on Facebook Live. Want to, send a shout out to everybody's watching us right now at home in your living rooms after a nice dinner, relaxing day at home, and you want to pop on a show and get some information about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right place to go.
Hey, but like I said, guys, we're writing up stuff on the board and some other outlets as well. Get to them as well. Carl Coglangio. I always mess this dude up.
Just say Carl the Italian guy.
Just say Carl.
Carl the Italian guy.
Anyway.
Whoa. Whoa.
He put up on the board, and it was a nice one. He said that killed us because we only got 3 right from the penalty, what he's talking about when we're on the goal line.
Yeah.
When we should have had a touchdown, and the fumble, of course, by Harris. And I 100% agree with you, Carl. That was huge. That killed us, and that took us way out of things, and it basically sealed the game for us. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know what? I hate to say it, and Tom is always right about this. He says, if you put yourself in a position where you got to get a game decided where the refs make the calls, then that's what you get. And don't get me wrong, I'm pissed about it. I'm pissed about it. But they won. They won the game. They outpowered us. They outdid anything they needed to do to us in this game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Philadelphia Eagles did it to us, and we found ways to just let them do it. And they nickel and dimed us down the field. No matter which way you look at it, that's what it is. They nickel and dimed us all the way down the field. We couldn't stop them, and we had no answer for it. And that was the disgusting part, is that we had no answer for it, James.
Right. Like we said, to the keys of victory to beat the Eagles, what did we have to do? We had to contain Jalen Hurts. We had to stop Shaquan, the running game, and we had to put up points. We had to create turnovers. We did all those except when they came out passing, which was very surprising, probably to the defensive coordinator. When you set up for a team that just dominates on the ground, why would you throw the ball, especially if you're like almost dead last in the NFL in passing percentages and passing yards and passing receptions, whatever? So kind of caught the defense off guard, and they could not adjust to that. I don't know why. And I don't know why the Eagles didn't continue to do that, because they were just marching down the field without, being stopped with the passing, short passes, long passes. We didn't have an answer for them, but we did have an answer every time they tried to run the ball. Even Gainwell went in there for a little while because I guess Barkley was hurt for a little bit. Fitzpatrick nailed him in the backfield one time, one play, and he sat out for a little bit. But still, no matter who ran the ball, the Pittsburgh Steelers were there. TJ Watt, the defensive line, Cam Hayward, everybody, Highsmith had a couple sacks. And defensively, the Pittsburgh Steelers front line was doing great. They're holding their own. TJ Watt creating turnovers and sacks. And this is what he's built for. This is what he's made for. Unfortunately, once again, playing a team where he's held constantly every play. And it's so frustrating. And one of these days, Mike Tomlin is going to pop. And he almost popped on the sidelines. Rumor has it that he's been fined over $30,000 for his little interaction with the referee. Their explanation of that frickus fracas in the end zone. And Tomlin he wanted no part of it. And if you're a good lip reader, you could actually, what he said to the ref. And we can't repeat it on here, Steeler Nation Live, because we're a family show, even though you like to swear in Italian and say some very bad things, but it's okay. I'm sure the FCC will write us a nice letter, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, it's an entertaining show. We're here for, information, news, and entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I'm trying to get my brother back on right now, guys. So this is the big Eagle fan that's coming on here. So I'm in the works of trying to get him back on the show right now. So while the show goes on, I'll be working on that behind the scenes. So I'm gonna try to send him out another invite to come on the show right now. So, and like we said, guys, there are a lot of stuff that's going on with James. And let's go over some of the stats from this game, which was totally disgusting. But hey, you know what? We love football. We're Pittsburgh Steelers fans first.
Oh, for sure.
So let's do it, brother.
Yeah. So I mean, not a stellar day in any sense with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 163 yards total offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In fact, the Steelers only had, I believe, 11 yards in the first half. Okay. Penalties, not too bad for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Only 5 penalties for 60 yards. The Eagles, 7 penalties for 54 yards. Should have been more in there. Eagles total yards for 401 yards. And now time for possession. Wow. We talk about this all the time, Sanders, right?
Right.
So how do you win ball games? You run the clock. You keep your offense on the field, you give your defense time to rest, and you keep their offense off the field. More than likely, you're going to win the ball game. You cannot win the ball game when you only have the ball 20 minutes out of 60 minutes. So you can't score touchdowns. You can't do anything. Your defense is, they're tired. They're beat up. I mean, you can only do so much on defense, where the Eagles had the ball for almost 40 minutes. I mean, do the math, 40, 20, 60, it's an hour, right? So when your defense is constantly out there getting tired, and not to mention injuries will catch up to you. Like TJ Watt, we'll have a little report on him, his ankle injury. He's looking good. According to reports from the Pittsburgh Steelers training facility, he's not in a boot. He's not, in crutches. He's not, doesn't have a cast or anything on. He's walking around. He's walking really, really good on an injury. We'll see how it is. He might play against the Ravens Saturday. And another injury update we have to report. George Pickens was seen. Wow. We saw the video Saturday. This is crazy. I mean, you don't think that this kid has a hamstring injury. It's kind of sus if you ask me, but he may be ready for the Ravens game. And the only problem with that is, we're in the playoffs right now, right? We do have to win the division. I guess this is always the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last game of the season, second last game of the season, you got to win to advance to the playoffs or do whatever you got to do to win a division. And it's just, even watching the Steelers, it's never a calm moment. You never can just sit back and relax and watch it. It's always like 911's on speed dial. So with that being said, Wilson, mediocre day. I mean, he passed for 122 yards. He did have 1 TD, however. Jalen Hurts, the other hand, 25 for 32, 290 yards, 2 TDs. We shut down Barkley, only 65 yards rushing and held to no touchdowns. And Najee Harris, 14 for 22. And six rushes for 14 yards, and he had 1 pass for 7 yards. So, and he had a fumble too. So you know what? I had to wear the Najee jersey tonight to show love and support. Yeah, it was pretty much the dagger that pretty much knocked us out of the game with the fumble. where we had momentum. But you know what? He's been with the Steelers, almost 4 years? And he's had like 3 fumbles his whole career.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, it's he feels bad. I feel bad, because we want you to score touchdowns. We don't want you to fumble the ball. But, so yeah, I'm just loving support. Najee Harris, who's done a lot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So yeah, I mean, it sucks that, he had the fumble, but what are you going to do? Calvin Austin III, 5 catches for 65 yards and a punch to the face. And Brown had 8 receptions, 110 yards, 1 TD. And his counterpart, he had about 102 yards, 2 and a touchdown. So it was really hard for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We had a couple secondary defenders go down with injuries. So James Pierre had to come in, and he had to play full-time safety. He's only a nickelback, a dime back. He's in and out. He had to play pretty much the whole game, and he's not a whole game kind of defender. So we did, however, have 3 sacks. So there are 2, and that's even with TJ Watt's injury. I mean, so a lot to talk about. And like we said, folks, please don't get anything wrong. We're trying to say about the referees, and we didn't lose because of the referees. It just looks more worse than that when you lose. Okay, if you win and the referees make all these bad calls, then that it is what it is. But can't take nothing away from the Eagles. The Eagles are 11-2 or whatever the record is for a big reason. They have a great team. They have number 1 defense. I think number 7 in offense.
Oh yeah.
And they're a great team. The only thing I got to say is, because there's nothing perfect, I've never seen so much turmoil on the sidelines of a team that's 11-2. I think they're 11-2, right? Of a team
12-2.
12-2 for a team who's 12-2. After that incident with Washington and Slayton, or no, I'm sorry, take that back. The defender who punched Connor Hayward in the face, coach wanted to talk to him. His coach didn't want the head coach. It was just there's a lot of nitpicking on the sidelines. You think that they were a 6-6 team or a 6-7 team, but thank God for that, or else who else? Where would they be? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Hey guys, like we said, you know what? So we finally got him on. I'm always working behind the scenes. And you know what? So we're gonna bring him on now. We're gonna bring him on the show. It pains me, but hey, welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Fly, Eagle Fly, Larry. How you been, brother? Oh man. Oh, your mic is muted. Your mic. Hey.
The eagle fly.
Oh my God.
Eagle fly on the road to victory. EAGLES Eagles.
Guys, like we said, we like it here on Steeler Nation Live, so we go do it so much that you know what? We're here on Steeler Nation Live, paying our dues.
We lost the bet.
Paying our dues on Steeler Nation Live. You know what? So let me ask you this. Fly, Eagle, Fly, Larry. What happened? The fact is, my Pittsburgh Steelers, they look like they would be dominating. They look like a team that would come in the Philly, win the game, and they choke. But this is how it is when you know what? You think that about your team. They go down. They go play you guys in Philadelphia. We come out with a loss. And you know what? On Steeler Nation Live, what we always like to do, we like to pay our dues. So that's what we're doing here on Steeler Nation Live.
I appreciate it. You got a little crow. I heard y'all on here whine out. I started to go get a pacifier, man. If we had more time.
Now come on, look at him. He's doing his flapping.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Hey,
on the road to victory.
Now let me ask you something. We watched the game. Even a lot of guys on the site even said, what there was a lot of penalties. There was a lot of penalties that happened in this game. James, there was a lot of penalties that happened in this game. What was your thought about the penalties? Go ahead, give it to him. Give him your thoughts about the penalties.
It's just too many to mention. I mean, we got a whole we got a whole list. We talked about half of them, right? But like I said, there, Fly Eagle, Fly Larry guy, that I mean, it didn't really. I mean, it just accentuates the loss. I mean, when you're looking at things and you're trying to find excuses and how did we do this? How we did? I mean, even with all those penalties, I still think the Eagles would have won that game because they just were the team that day. I mean, they came to play. The Steelers were lost, but it didn't help us. I mean, what are you going to do? It could have been a lot closer, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, you guys won.
Hey, I mean, let me ask you this. Now, I mean, I know yourself, Larry. You didn't think that you guys would go in there and dominate us like that. Now, I know you were just talking. You were just thinking about it.
Well, he said that they were going to lose, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
Well, the moment you guys mentioned, because it didn't click in my head, because I was traveling during the time that the wide receiver Pickens wasn't playing, I started to think about him. I was like, who are they going to pass the ball to? And then I started to look more on by the end of the first quarter, I knew y'all was going to get dusted. Honestly, the score should have been worse than what it was, but you guys, I give you credit. Your defense forced multiple turnovers. You guys got the average field position was like outstanding. You had the ball at our 11, you had the ball at our 45, and couldn't do nothing with it for the most part. And a lot of that, the penalties came into play when you guys got that special teams turnover. And with the special teams turnover, you had the ball at the 11-yard line. And so that second down penalty where the guys were fighting in the end zone, that really cost you. That was 15 yards. You went to 2nd and 18, and then you guys really didn't accomplish anything from there. But the earlier turnover where Watts knocked the ball out from Hurts and you had the ball at the 45-yard line, you guys actually lost yards on that drive in 4 plays and ended up being on the other side of the 50. Right. And so there was no penalties on any of those drives. And if you look at some of the drives from going back to the first drive, no penalties. It was first and 10. They ran the ball 2 yards. It was 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7. Then you punt. Right. You go back 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8, 4th and 8, and then you punt. So penalties been coming up really.
Yeah, but he forgot about that made a penalty on Zach Frazier, the center, for tripping, where he got knocked on the ground. And he rolled and he hit the player. And we're not talking about the field goal where they talked about what's his face came in on Pittsburgh and he took out the center, which he didn't do it. He got blocked into the center. I mean, we could be here all night talking about these made up penalties, but
oh God.
Like I said, Sanders, it's not to take away from the way the Eagles played. He's absolutely right. Their defense stood up when they had to. In their offense, one of almost the worst passing offense in the NFL, and they did a number on our secondary. So, I mean, we shut down Saquon, we shut down the running game, but at the end of the day, does that account for anything when you get blasted? I mean, it's just Eagles won. I mean, they won even without the referees. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Even without that, they won. It was a great game for Philly.
Well, let me say this, Larry. Let me say this. Now, I do realize that when the game was close, the game was on the line.
I just can't.
I know.
Can't look at you. Put a serious face out here.
When the game was close and the game was on the line, you guys, we gave the ball to you guys. I mean, and you know yourself, if it wasn't for that fumble,
Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas that we gave y'all. The Steelers was going in and tied up. And I mean, honestly, you know in your mind that you were thinking that this might be a different ball game. Now, it's okay. It's okay to say it. It's okay to say it. It's okay to say it.
Well, if you watch the Eagles games this year, they've dominated opponents in the second half. And so they even let Carolina come close. They even let some teams get the lead. But in that second half, they always pull away. I would say the Saquon issue, right? You guys kind of stifled Saquon, but really, if you look at that second series that the Eagles had, he got hurt, right? The guy dived at his leg and hurt his leg, and he wasn't the same guy for the rest of that game. And so you guys had an opportunity there with multiple turnovers, Saquon hurt, to be able to cash it away. But on offense, because I think your defense balled out on offense, once again, it goes back to the Steelers not trying to win the game. A lot of these short passes, Russ was known for them moon balls. There was one or two moon balls yesterday, right? It was a dink and dunk, and then it was the getting sacked, and then you bring in Fields. Fields have 8 yards, and they get a 15-yard penalty on top of it, and then you don't see him again, right? You don't see him again. So if you don't have a strong passing game, why not mix him in there a little bit more, right? Because he does have that threat of running the ball, and if he's in there, guys backside got to stay home, right? They can't always crash on the pitch guy, which to me it makes no sense why you guys always pitching the ball out to you.
Yeah, that was we were talking about that offline, and it's just like it doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, if you're going to do something like that on offense, and what got us winning games was Russell Wilson doing swing passes out to our running backs,
exactly.
Like Jalen Warren, beautiful short passes down to Washington. I mean, he's like 9 foot tall. Try tackle that guy. You got to utilize that more. And I noticed on the board, Carl put up there, Carl, the Italian guy, because we want to butcher his last name. He said that Hurts had all day to throw the ball. And once again, if you can go back and you see all the holding, and TJ Watt had 2 sacks, even though he's held the whole game. I mean, you take a team that's almost dead last in the NFL passing, and their quarterback has all day to throw the ball. Something's got to tell you something. I mean, other teams they played, they don't, the referees or whoever's calling those games don't really care. But when it comes to the Steelers, I guess, I mean, it's just weird. So if you look at all the stats and you can see how many times the Pittsburgh Steelers, I should do this. I think I'm going to do that. Create pressure on the quarterback and put pressures and hits on the quarterback. They're probably worse than the NFL, because when they're constantly held, Highsmith is held all the time. Watt's held all the time. And Hayward's there just to plug up the middle. So, I mean, unless you're running the ball, it's just, I mean, what do you want us to do? I mean, it's tough. And our secondary is depleted with injuries. And it's just,
but you know what? I don't want to use that as an excuse.
I hear a lot of excuses.
I don't want to lose. Oh boy, we got everybody chiming in. We even got Cincinnati Joe. Joe Burrow leads all QBs in touchdown throws, yards, completions, and percentage. He says, just saying. He wanted to throw that in.
well, we gotta throw this. We gotta throw this in there. Yeah, he leads all those. He forgot the category also he leads into losses.
That's true. That's true.
You could throw 100 touchdowns. Don't matter. If you don't win the games, what is it? It just boots your stats up. I mean, that's great that you can do that, but you got to win ball games, pal.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Larry. Now, Pittsburgh lost this game, and granted, it sucked. We went into Philadelphia. We haven't won there since the 60s. I think
1965.
50 years, Pittsburgh has not won in Philadelphia.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
But okay, now let me ask you this.
It tells me a lot.
Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got a huge game coming up this Saturday versus the Baltimore Ravens. Give us your thoughts here.
More dirty birds.
Yeah, and more birds that we dealing with. You know what? It is the holiday, so let's have a bird feast. So we're gonna cook them up next week. Yes. But let me ask you this: give us your thoughts here on the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Baltimore Ravens next week, Saturday. Give us your thoughts and a score, Larry.
I honestly think that without a healthy Pickens, you guys gonna get boat raced. You might as well go down to the local Pet Boys because they're gonna beat the brakes off of y'all.
Wow.
Steelers played them tough the last time, right?
Right.
But look at that game. Russ did struggle even then with Pickens playing, right? He had 200 yards. He had an interception, no touchdowns, right? And so you got to realize is that you guys got to run the ball. Same thing I said before this week. If y'all to ran the ball, throw the ball to the tight end in the middle field, dump it down to the wide receivers. I mean, not wide receivers, sorry, the backside of the backfield. You got a strong
science. I mean, he gets it. Larry gets it.
Yeah. You
have a strong shot because the defense is going to be there, right? Granted, I didn't like their scheme against the Eagles because if you see against the Eagles, they played the single high. The guy was 20 yards off the ball. If you watch the whole film, because I watched the coach's film this morning, And you'll see the guy made like no plays in the pass game, no plays in the run play. He was in no man's land, but he was kind of shadowing the quarterback. But he was 20 yards off the field. It was what? I think 23 was the guy. Didn't make any sense. So if you're gonna man up, you got to man up, right? And they left AJ Brown one-on-one. They left Devontae Smith one-on-one, and then they had a lot of zone in the middle. But y'all can't stick with our guys in that way, right? And so knowing that Saquon Barkley is out and knowing that you have to win that game, your guys have to be more aggressive on offense and defense. And that means taking what the defense gets you, right? I was giving those stats earlier. You guys were always behind the chains, right? When it's 2nd and 10, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8, that's not a Russ game, right? And you got to take shots on first down, right? Instead of
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. That's what you just said right there. That's the difference what the Pittsburgh Steelers have to do. We have to start taking chances on first down because it becomes where we start to become predictable, which I noticed against the Eagles. The Eagles just sat back. All you did on first down is you knew Pittsburgh was coming right up the gut with the ball, or we were going to do some crazy pitch, and you just lined up and you just got everything together and you just came forward with a rush. You weren't even looking for a pass. You were looking for a run. And that's where the Steelers are starting to become predictable, and it's causing them issues. I mean, James, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, right now, what I see with Pittsburgh is we have to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at how the Ravens last week struggled against the Giants, I mean, Derrick Henry didn't do squat against the Giants, and the Giants have no defensive line. I don't understand what happened there. And we've never had a problem with Derrick Henry. Like I said last show, when he played for the Titans, we always contained him. He didn't do squat against us, and in all the games that he played for the Ravens, we always shut him down. So that I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just worried about containing Lamar and scoring some touchdowns. Field goals do not win games. Okay, nope. Even though we beat the Ravens on 6 field goals with Chris Wizard of Boz, but I mean we got to come off this game, and I feel sorry for the Ravens. We're going to Baltimore. I get it, right? And so we're coming off the big defeat against one bird, and then we're playing another bird, and so this is our chance to take the division. So Pittsburgh's going to come in there with a different mentality. Now, you talked about Pickens. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think TJ Watt's going to play either, but that's not going to happen. It doesn't matter. Pittsburgh's going to go in there with a different mentality, and I can promise you this. You're not going to see the same Steelers in Baltimore that you saw in Philly. And, division rivals, you always play them tough. And like the next time you play the Cowboys, I guarantee you're not going to blow them out. You probably beat them, but you're not going to beat them like you beat us. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be like an angry win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, being totally dominated by the Eagles and coming in. And now, even though we backed into the playoffs, I mean, we still have a lot to win for. And we got division pride, division championship, and that's going to be huge. And right now it's a good time to play the Ravens because they just barely beat the Giants. I mean, they're 9-5. Come on, man. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers bump in the road. You don't expect them to win straight out the rest of the season. It's impossible. And we usually lose to below 500 team. I think this is the first time we've lost to a team above 500.
Hey, let me ask you this. I don't know if Carl, check that out. I don't know if that's true or not about the Steelers trading Van Jefferson. You know what? That'd be interesting just to find out if that is true.
Trade him to Philly.
Yeah. Just traded to Philly.
Jefferson. He's number 11, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the only time you guys really went deep, believe it or not, he was behind the Eagles defender. The ball just wasn't there.
Oh my God! He wouldn't be just saying that because of what just was stated, would he?
No, and they had 3 defenders. They had 3 defenders that was on Van Jefferson. He was still behind them.
He said joke. He said it was a joke. Now watch. Okay, now go back to what you was going to really say. Oh man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, but like, dude, the fact is, you guys are a better team than we are at this moment. And I will say this: you right now, I believe, what is it? Is it like a 3-way tie in the NFC for number 1 slot?
Right, I think so.
Yeah. So the Eagles right now, they do look like the more seasoned team to take this thing in the NFC. But the problem with the Eagles is we all know your QB has a propensity if the game is left in his hands to start to struggle at certain aspects.
Oh, sure.
Now, I mean, wouldn't you agree?
You get a little pressure on him.
Oh, yeah.
He folds like a cheap suit.
Yeah, I'll say what the great philosopher Hurt said, he said,
I think it just laid an egg.
Was that good enough? Was that good enough? Is that what y'all want? He had his Nemo Brown hat on, right? He was right, because essentially what he's saying is, we can beat y'all any kind of way. You want to get down in the mud, we get down in the mud. You want to do a shootout, we can do a shootout.
They win
We
one
beat
game.
you anyway. What is that? 10 straight wins? 10 straight wins?
Yeah, all in Philly.
Look, we beat the brakes off of Baltimore, and physically we beat them up. Similar thing with the Steelers. I was a little worried, like, it's Steelers going to be more physical. If you look at the film, Eagles were physical.
No, wait a minute.
They're very physical.
No,
they didn't get called penalties.
Now I got to call you out on that game against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens missed what? 3-4 field goals?
4 field goals. Justin Tucker.
That would have been a different game there.
Game over. 1 point. You lose 26-25.
Yep.
Different ball game.
Hey, Larry, before I let you go, give me your thoughts on your score for the game with the Steelers going into Baltimore.
Steelers going to Baltimore, I think it's going to be 38-10.
38. Let me get my pen.
Well, let me put an asterisk on it.
Oh, geez.
Let me put an asterisk on it. If they don't, if Russ struggles early and they don't decide to come out there, shorten the game. That's what they should have done against the Eagles. Run the ball, shorten the game. They had many drives where they took 30 seconds off the clock. They took 2 minutes or less off the clock. And if you look at the second half, Eagles dominated the entire second half. So if you're the Steelers, shorten the game. Don't put it on your defense, especially knowing Watts may not be 100%. Shorten the game. Let's get first down. Let's get these chains moving. Let's get our defense rested. If they don't do that and they're 3 and out, 5 and out, it's going to be a long day.
A lot of ifs there. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Well, you know what? Like he said,
38.
The Steelers, if they don't lay it out, that's very much possibilities. Hey, but like I said, you know what, Larry? Fly, Eagle Fly, Larry, stopping by Steeler Nation Live. We paying our dues here on Steeler Nation.
Yeah,
we doing our thing.
We lose a bet. Hey, we lose a bet. We owe up. We pay up.
Yeah, exactly. So don't worry. We got some games coming down the pipe. We got Cincinnati Joe on there as well. Cincinnati Joe saying he thinks it's going to be a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl, which is very much a possibility at this point, the way things are being played. I don't think so. I think the Bills are doing their probable of being able to possibly choke at bad times. But again, that's what right. That's what happens. But again, hey guys, thanks again for having my brother, my biological brother here, stopping by Steeler Nation Live, doing this thing. So I want to give him much respect here. And brother, thanks again, man, for stopping by.
Hey, I got my homies in the background too. I don't know if you see it, but we kidnapped that Steeler bunny right there because y'all a bunch of lambs. You can't play with the Lions, man.
Okay, all right. We've gone too far.
All right, my brother. Hey, man, we'll check you out, man. And thanks again for stopping by Steeler Nation Live. And it's all, you know what? Next time we come back, it's going to be all Steelers. Just letting you know.
Just don't have a meltdown like you did last year.
All right, see you, bro. Woo. Hey, guys, we're back. We paid our dues on Steeler Nation Live.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we lost. We paid it out. We made us look like idiots out here dealing with them damn Eagles. They won it. Like Dilly said right there, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Eagles got the dub, and that's exactly what it comes down to. Yeah. They got the win, James, and we paid our debt back. You know what? Here on Steeler Nation Live, we always out here. We love it, man. Guys getting on the boards talking garbage, and I mean, some guys are insightful, like Joe said earlier. that's a very much a possibility with the Steelers, being out, and then it's Buffalo and Eagles in the Super Bowl. Right now, the way things played out.
Listen, even without Mahomes, you can't count them cheats out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all scripted. It's all, what the NFL wants. Probably Lions Chiefs Super Bowl would be pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. But just going through the motions there, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, let me give a shout out to Mean Green. He said he was stopped by YouTube this is from YouTube over there. He said came across the live stream. I've been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan since 1975. I totally been black and gold. That's what I'm talking about, brother. Yeah. Black and gold forever. Yeah. And the thing about it is, he says, win or lose, go Steelers.
That's right.
Totally.
Hey, Mr. Green, we're here every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time, except for next Tuesday. It's Christmas Eve. So we'll be back after that, and we're going to talk about, the Ravens game. We're going to talk about the Christmas Day game. We get screwed again against the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to be talking about that, but let's talk about a little bit more about that Ravens game, Sanders. Your brother pretty much, basically this is what you got to do to win the game, and he's no dummy. You know what I'm saying? He knows exactly what it is. Not a Steeler fan, but he knows the Steeler mantra, how Steelers win football games and how we put it together and how we lose football games. And because you got a game plan, you gotta stick with the game plan. You know what I'm saying? And stop these. I'm glad we don't do those Jets sweeps anymore. That's out the window. And I'm glad we don't try any of that trickery crap. That's out the window. But now we're getting into these pitching. What is that?
Yeah, I like
Najee Harris and Jalen Warren are not east-west guys. They're north-south guys. That's it. You throw him the ball, Jalen Warren turns upfield like a robot, try and get me. He's like a bowling ball. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with Najee. He's got the speed to take it on the outside, but what he's made for is finding the holes, punching up the middle, and then taking it to the outside where there's nobody there. That's simple. You cannot start from the outside these pitches, and you have a chance for fumbles. And this is, he fumbled 3 times in his 4-year career with the Steelers, and why? Because of these pitches.
Yeah. Oh, well, like you said, Cincinnati Joe said, he giving out the score. He said he thinks it's going to be a 30-13 score, and you know what? The way that the Baltimore Ravens came out last week versus the Giants, you can't question it. And also Carl came out again. He was right. He said utilize Warren more with screens. And Carl is right on point. And a lot of these other guys who was hitting up here are on point. Joe was making some good points. My brother made a lot of good. You have to stop letting these guys crowd the line of scrimmage. Stop it.
Easy now.
Stop letting before I put the damn beat back on. Stop letting them crowd the line of scrimmage. Do short passes, open it up, and get it going. That's gonna make all those linebackers back off. Mean Green says 28-21 Steelers, and I love that one too as well. I think the Steelers can kind of round ship. Every time the Steelers looked like they were decimated, they looked like they were so out of it, they played horribly. They came back and they played a good game. They've done this all year long. Remember, everybody was writing them out. Oh, you guys lost to Cleveland. Oh, you did this to that. It was snow. Yep, I said the same thing. It was bad weather. You know what? But you know what? They were like, well, you know what? They played the same weather. 100% true. And what happened? Steelers came back that next week, played a hell of a game. Came the week after that, played a hell of a game. And then next thing you know, we ended up losing this game to Philly, which I kind of knew because Pittsburgh kind of stays on that route of being studied at. If it's a team that we have problems with historically, somehow we find a way to keep having problems with these teams historically, just like we did when we went down to Cleveland and just like we did when we went down to Philly. And the thing about it is we've been beating these Ratbirds for a long time now. I think the last 8 out of 9 games the Steelers have won.
Yeah.
Versus these Ratbirds. And check it out. Not even just versus these Ratbirds with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Mason Rudolph at quarterback. You got to think about all that stuff. Remember, we went down there and beat him with Mason Rudolph at quarterback in a rainstorm at their own home field.
Yeah. Also, you got to take into consideration, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields rarely ever played the Ravens. And then when you're when you're in this division rivalry, it's hard to get your feet wet. They came into the game and did he throw any touchdowns? No. And did we score 18 points off of field goals? Absolutely. So I see a different offensive outlook for the Pittsburgh Steelers, taking what they did against the Ravens that worked and what didn't work. Now, this sounds sensible, right? This is what you think they should do. And find out what worked and what didn't work, and then adjust to it. Go back to the games that we manipulated in the past couple victories. How did we win these games? And go off that game film. All right. The passes to Freiermuth. He was non-existent against the Eagles.
Yep.
Okay.
Cincinnati Joe just said that too.
Yep. And in Darnell Washington, I'm like, this guy is a monster. Okay. He makes in Njoku for the tight end for the Cleveland Browns looks like a little kid.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy can catch. Look at him when he played for Georgia, all the stuff he did in Georgia. I mean, just running over people, running routes, and they need to utilize him. They need to utilize Freiermuth's route running ability in his hands, his catching. I mean, he pulled a touchdown out the other day, and it just looked like it was going to be an interception against the Eagles. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in all the people are putting on the message board. Jaylen Warren, get him in there, right?
Yeah, I agree. And also, you're correct. We got to get Jaylen Warren more involved as well. They got to get these backs doing these short passes out of the backfield. And Mean Green came up with also, I want to keep that in the back of your mind, guys. Who is your favorite Steeler player of all time? He says Joe Green is his favorite. Yeah. James, you know what? While we're talking before the end of the show, we want to come up with your favorite player, your favorite Steeler player of all time. And there's a lot of them. So I'm going to make sure we get that in there as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. And but like you said, everybody's saying the same thing. Use the tight ends, get Jaylen Warren involved. And, I don't understand how they can see it. And I mean, how we can see it, how other guys can see it. Guys who like other teams can see it. And for some reason, we keep this status quo of like my brother said, when we played the Eagles, they knew on first down we were going to run it. So what do? They stack the box.
Yeah.
What does everybody do against Pittsburgh? Number one, Pittsburgh out the box is going to sit there and run the ball, which makes
yeah. and it's just like how offenses that play against us, we stack the box to stop their running game, which we did against the Eagles, and how'd that work out for us, right? I mean, one of the worst, almost the worst passing offenses in the NFL, we're just playing like we're high school, like we're a JV team, right? So that needs to change as well. You need to mix it up a little bit and not, I mean, the offense, I'm just waiting for it, right? Because every game, and if you're not a Steeler fan, watch the Pittsburgh Steelers first play. It's going to be a run, okay? They're going to stack the box, and they're going to play man coverage, all right? Now's the time. Air it up. Yeah. First play, just go deep.
Yep.
That's all.
That's what I say. Right out the box. Box.
Go shock and awe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just get them on their heels.
And not just go on that first play right there, right out the box. I mean, go 3 straight passes. Because I'm telling you, they expect Pittsburgh to run. It doesn't matter. What's the difference? If you're getting 2 yards, 1 yard, and 2 yards, you might as well try to move the ball downfield, at least try to surprise them. You know what I mean? If you're going to punt anyway. Hey, and sure. Cincinnati Joe says, he said Jack Lambert was a favorite Steeler, one bad mofo. And that guy was a heck of a Pittsburgh Steelers, Jack Lambert. Yeah. You know what? That was one of the toughest ones of all time. You got to come up with one before you leave, brother.
Oh, for sure. Let's get a score for the Ravens game there, Sanders. I mean, right now I'm looking at a Steelers 27-21 victory over the Ravens. The score is not going to depict it. Steelers are going to really control this game. I think the Ravens get a last-minute touchdown, and like Steeler fashion, we're going to run the clock out to preserve the victory. 27-21. Steelers go into Baltimore, and it's a must. I'd say it's a must win. Not for anything else, but their own self, their own psyche to get them prepared for the playoffs. It's more mental than physical, and not just a victory. I think this is going to depict the rest of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers and where they go from there. Yeah, they're in the playoffs, but this is the game that's going to set the momentum for them going into the playoffs. You want to go in to the playoffs with a winning record. And not to mention our next game at home against the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be it's going to be a great game too.
It's on Netflix. Yep.
Oh my, yeah. Good luck. So what do you think about the Ravens score? Then we'll get a Kansas City Chiefs score.
Yeah. I said the Ravens right now. I said the Ravens, Pittsburgh, they can win this game. I think they'll probably win it, but I think it's going to be like another short, tough game. I'm looking like a 20-17 type score for Pittsburgh getting it in and winning this game. I'm telling you, man, Pittsburgh can do it, and I see they can do it. And the great thing about it is they can do it just like examples with Carl just wrote on the board as well. He says, "Hey guys." Oh, this is from one of the other watchers as well. What's up, Daniel? Wanted to thank you for checking us out as well. And James Shaw, what's up, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. You Bills lover, you. But anyway, but he says, you know what? Move Watt around, and I agree with that totally, Carl. Move Watt around. But the bad thing, Carl, is Watt going to start next week? Watt kind of limped out of this game. Is Watt going to be available next week? Is the Steelers going to say? And you know how Pittsburgh, they love to take precautions. They're going to I think they're going to sit Watt for a game.
Yeah.
But if he's healthy enough to play,
God,
so be it. But I think they're going to sit him and try to hope to God that these young guys can advance and move up. And right now, like he said, next man up. No matter which way it is. I had a cousin, he's a Bills lover, but he always says, I don't believe that next man up stuff. That's why you got your number one guys, this and that. He says, look at the situation with Pickens. But the thing about it is, it doesn't matter. Look at the Buffalo Bills when in the playoffs when Jim Kelly went down and the backup, Frank Wright came in there and won that playoff game. Came from down for many points. So
31 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was for you, James Shaw, so you can have that one. I gave you a little freebie. But the thing about it is, it does. It's next man up, and that's what has to be done. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers can win this game, and I think they can win it big. I'm saying like a 20-17 score. So I wrote a lot of these downs. Guys also put some other scores up there. Hey, Carl, I didn't see you put a score up there as well. And I think Reg was on earlier. I don't know if he's still on as well. I want to make sure as well as on them. But guys, like we said,
really quick,
the Chiefs. Give us a score on that one. So
going into the Chiefs game after the momentum after the Ravens victory, I'm foreshadowing here. I really do think I'm hoping that Mahomes plays, because if he plays, then he's going to be limited to his mobility because of his ankle injury. He's got a high ankle sprain. They're the worst to have. I'd rather have a broken ankle, because that at least when you're going to be healed, 4 to 6 weeks or whatever it is. I don't know if they got some superpowers. These trainers, you could be back on the field before that. Don't know, don't care. But because of even if he doesn't play, Carson Wentz is the backup, I do believe, and he's a Eagle throwaway. So we've beaten him before. So I'd rather have Mahomes play, and I think this game right here is going to define the Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 season. 30-17, Pittsburgh wins at home big for that home Christmas crowd. Going to give them something to cheer about, and I'm telling you, this is going to depict the Pittsburgh Steelers for the rest of the year, and they're going to come out huge. You're going to come out wanting to play, and then when they play Renegade in the fourth quarter, that's just going to turn everything around, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to dominate this game totally in the second half. 30-17, Pittsburgh Steelers victory.
Oh my God, boy. Oh my God. Where'd you get that one from?
Right out the old arse.
No, I'm not going that far. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be a tighter game. I don't know if what's his name is going to play the QB. Mahomes. Sorry about that. I don't know if Mahomes is going to play, but I do believe that Pittsburgh Steelers can beat them. If Mahomes doesn't play, I think Pittsburgh will go get after whoever that quarterback is for the Chiefs, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will win it that way. And if they do have a backup starting for them, I can see Pittsburgh winning it with a score of like 27-20, something like that. 27-20 with Pittsburgh Steelers winning that. But I will say this, if Mahomes plays, it's going to be a tighter game, but I can still see Pittsburgh coming out. But I know KC wants to go for that three-peat, and I think they're going to take that same adage. That I know they're scared now, because right now they can't afford to lose. What? How many games are ahead of the Bills? Two, I think. Yeah, 2 games. So if they can probably drop 1 game, but they can't afford to lose 2, because Buffalo already beat them. So that means that they will fall underneath Buffalo and they'd be in second place. Mm-hmm. So that means they'd have to travel to eventually, if Buffalo makes it to the championship, or if we both meet there, they'd have to do it in Buffalo. So I think that they'll sit them out for one game. It might be this game this weekend and have them for the Pittsburgh game, or vice versa. I'd sit them out for this game this weekend and then have the Pittsburgh game be ready for that one. So if he gets into that one, I can see Pittsburgh winning that because they're going to go after him, and his mobility will be kind of off a little bit. So it'll be a full shot of straight blitzes and Pittsburgh getting after him. So he's not going to have that ample time to go find an open receiver, which I hope Pittsburgh has learned a lot, for God's sakes. And because we don't know if we're going to have Watt or not. So
no,
that's
and the referee's going to have their work cut out for them. They're going to earn their money this weekend and next Wednesday against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day, folks.
Wow, look at Cincinnati's Joe, 20-17 Pitt over KC.
Man, now this guy knows some stuff about football.
No,
Cincy Joe, smartest guy alive out there. He should be on ESPN. He knows his stuff.
Chad Sateri says, go beat those Ravens and Chiefs. You know what, Chad's a Bill fan. Got to respect them, man. Y'all looking good. You know what? But the thing about it is, will you guys be able to contain that? You know, you got to score 60, 70 points to win a ball game. That's hard, brother. That's going to be hard in the playoffs because defenses, they seem to play in a different mode. But if you can get by and keep playing 60 points a game, to win a game, I mean, for God's sakes. And I think your man this year, I got to agree, your quarterback, he will probably win MVP this year. He deserves it this year. You don't think
Saquon all the way.
No,
I mean these quarterbacks.
I like Saquon.
These prima donna quarterbacks, they have it made. We got to get a guy like Saquon because I said it before when he was in Penn State, when he played for the Giants, especially Penn State. If this guy got the ball in any part of the field, he returned kicks, punts, wide receiver, running back. If he had the ball, he had a propensity of scoring a touchdown every touch.
Yeah.
Now that's something special, and he took that to the NFL. Well, unfortunately, the Giants gave him away, and they thought they'd keep a quarterback after a chicken sandwich. I guess I don't know. And look at him now.
Well said,
right?
That boy good. Hey guys, like we said, another show in the books here on Steeler Nation Live. I want to thank all you guys for checking us out. You know, we was hitting from all over the place. You know, new viewer out there on YouTube, Mean Joe, want to thank you as well. Chad Sateri still saying, no way is Barkley MVP. Someone is getting cold and sticking in there. I'm not saying that.
Oh, boy.
Hey, back at you, Chad. Hey, but guys, like we said, you know what? Steelers got 2 games coming up. We'll be off. We're going to be out on vacation next week, so we're not doing the show next week. But make sure you check us out the Tuesday after. See if all the scores are up to par. But again, from your boy Sanders Tisdale,
James Owen, and Rocky Blyer.
And Rocky Blyer
is my favorite Ultimate Steeler.
There you go. I got Rob Woodson. See ya. Steeler Nation Live.